Are you a fan of horror movies?
Necronomicon Ex Mortis, the Book of the Dead.
What about cult classics?
Your move, creep.
If you are, you'll love Shocking Things. Please search for us on all the major podcasting platforms. To see our social media and a direct link to our podcast, please go to anchor.fm/shockingthings.
Tracy Smothers, Harley Race, Tim Storm, Bushwhacker Luke, Bobby Fulton. The Pro Wrestling Vault, Volume 1, Bill Dundee, Supermax Hernandez, C.W. Anderson, Ricky Morton, Sir Mo, and many others share their stories of determination, triumph, and sorrow. Get your book today at Russellville.com or at Amazon.com. Russellville, it's where wrestling lives.
Well, everybody, this is the PWZ podcast, and we are back. We got it right this time. My guest today is Erick Hunting from Parts Unknown. He's got this great new YouTube channel. We're going to sit here and talk about wrestling in New England tonight, because that's my favorite area. A lot of good stuff coming out of here lately. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your YouTube channel before we expand?
Well, I'm going to start right from the beginning. I had played around with the idea of it, but I didn't know where to get started. And one time I was on YouTube, and then I got a notification that I had a subscriber. I'm like, a subscriber to what? I don't even have a channel that I knew of. And there was 4 subscribers to nothingness. And it just it pulled the trigger for me. And I just said, well, you know what? I'm going to start this with just my photo content. That's what I'm going to start with. And it just snowballed from there. And I mean, I'm only 5 videos in, but got to start somewhere, right, Rick?
Absolutely. That's, it's similar to how I was.
Yep.
In a way, I wanted to start a radio show, and it wasn't going to be anything to do with professional wrestling. It was going to be a music show. I looked into college radio, public radio, internet radio, etc. I reached out to people, and then all of a sudden it turned into, I went to Bound for Glory 2019. And that's what got me thinking about professional wrestling. So why don't I just start a podcast?
Yep.
And then here I am, 3 years later, and I'm just having fun sitting here on YouTube, social media, doing it on Facebook, everywhere, man. And it just grew, and we're hitting 200 episodes very soon. So, and I've met a lot of great people along the way, such as yourself. You're one of the first guests from on the show, if you don't realize it, almost 3 years ago.
Episode 19.
It's episode 19. Wow. So yeah, you definitely are. Wow.
I looked
I'm
it
gonna go
up
back and
night.
watch that. That's awesome. That's awesome to think about, man, because I'm sitting here thinking about some of the great people I've had on this show. And then we've been trying for the last 2 years to say, or I've said it several times to you, that we got to get you back on, but
right.
I'm glad we're finally following up through it with it.
Yes. 100%. When you said we got to do this and we need to make our schedules happen, and I just happened to have the free time tonight to do it. And while everything is fresh with the YouTube channel, let's do this. And so here we are.
I'm also on Night Owl. That's the thing. So, and I do a lot of my episodes after 9 o'clock. So, very rarely are they daytime episodes. So,
I just got home, about at 11:30 or so, and I don't go to bed until 2:30 in the morning. It's just who I am.
Yeah, and I'm working several jobs, so it's like I'm a night owl. Like, I deal with this when I have time at night, and I have a lot of fun with it. There may be some viewers, there may be none, but I get a lot of post viewers after it's already been posted, as opposed to the live view. So I'm okay with that, as long as people are watching at some point.
Right.
And you're a fan of professional wrestling. The episode 19 was almost 3 years ago, probably, maybe 2 and change, but
2 and change anyways.
At least. But we've talked about your history in professional wrestling as far as like a fan growing up, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. But we didn't
Right.
talk a lot about the localized.
We never got to
Professional
that.
Yeah.
We spent over
never
an
did.
hour. We spent an hour on WWF, NWA, WCW, all that
Right.
stuff. We never
Our
got
youth,
to
basically. Yeah.
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 And then we talked for probably about another 45 minutes to an hour after the episode.
Yeah.
After you
Absolutely.
hit
That's
pause.
usually how it goes. Yeah. So tell me what draws you to New England professional wrestling. I mean, I know it's got such a great, rich history.
Well, in our first episode, I told you my very first live show was an indie show, and it was only because Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Greg Valentine were there.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started about 5 years ago, June of 2017. My girlfriend asked if I wanted to go to this wrestling show because her cousin was wrestling on it. And I'm like, oh, that's a no-brainer. Of course I do. So we went as a family, and I think I missed maybe 3 shows that year after that first event.
Wow.
And we fell in love with it right away. We didn't know who to cheer, who to boo, nothing on that first event. But after that, we were in, and that was just that one promotion. I didn't go to another promotion for almost a year and a half to 2 years. I was just going to Pioneer Valley Professional Wrestling, PVP.
That's the one you just did the episode on, correct?
Right now. Yeah, right now that's my my only content, because I was trying to do past content, and then they just came back after 2 years because due to the pandemic, and they just now came back a couple of weeks ago, and what a hell of a show! It was it was electric. It really was.
I can imagine that. Has there been many shows throughout the pandemic in your area, or was it just them in particular that were not running shows during that time? I'm not sure what Massachusetts is like.
Well, there was some that had started running. I want to say maybe a year ago, but for the most part, everybody was done. And then there was sporadic shows. There was limited attendance, that type of thing. They did not want to run a show until they could have full capacity, and they didn't have to mandate mask wearing. If you want to, you can, but they didn't want to have to mandate it. And so they waited. And yeah, it kind of stunk that they had to wait, but I think it was definitely worth the wait. I said that in my latest episode. It was worth the wait.
I remember here in Connecticut when there hadn't been shows throughout the pandemic, and I remember there's probably at least some companies were creating online content. You know what I mean, to try to keep fans aware that they are still out there. If you remember the pandemic, there was only pretty much WWE and AEW in existence that were still running shows, but we're not here to talk about them.
But, there was a couple of companies that were doing their taped shows and stuff and putting them on IWTV. You had Limitless was doing Limitless that. Was killing it. Limitless, Beyond did some stuff, but they, and then when they finally came back, that's right in my backyard. That's in Worcester. That's where I work.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't go to their shows because they run it on a Wednesday and I work nights, so I can't do it.
We almost drove out there tonight. Me and my 2 sons. They're back here in Connecticut, so for the for a month.
For Open.
So for Wrestling Open, and I threw it out there to Fogman, but somebody I never followed up. So, but I'm like, one of these days, at least in the next month, because it's not expensive. I think it's like $10 to go there.
It's fairly inexpensive to go. But it's for the I believe, I don't know about Open. I know about Beyond is when they're at the White Eagle. It's standing room.
Yeah.
No seats. Well, they have a designated area for seats, but you have to pay. I think you have to pay extra for the seats. I'm not 100% on that, but
okay. I mean, I watch the shows anyways every
oh,
week. So
I'm a little behind on Wrestling Open. I've just gotten so backed up with. I watch too much as it is.
Yeah, there's wrestling is on every night of the week, several
It
nights,
is.
and it's like I just did an interview with a gentleman called Aaron Camaro, who kind of works down in the South.
Yeah.
We were talking about this, that there's sometimes several wrestling shows on per night, whether it be Raw for 3 hours. I mean, I remember there'd be wrestling on before it, there'd be wrestling on after that. Between the streams and cable, it's insane how much wrestling is actually out there today.
It really is. It really is.
And we thought we were getting everything in the 1980s when we were catching all that wrestling. You know what I mean? Every day between, there was World Class,
ESPN.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome. Forgot where I was going with this. Are you drinking a Four Loko? Oh no, that's in Arizona. I thought you were drinking a Four Loko. I was gonna say, man, you're real wild.
No, too old for that.
I remember trying that when it first came out, before they had to take it off the market. If you remember that, for a brief period, and it wasn't a good experience. I'll just tell you that. So. Yeah.
So, I mean, the only show that I really hit when the pandemic was kind of lightening up was I went down to the Test of Strength show.
I remember,
down in Connecticut, I think it was Torrington, Connecticut, or something like that.
I think that's.
It was
not that far from Mass. Yeah.
It was a 2 hour ride for me.
Really?
Yeah, it took me like over 2 hours to get there. It was at the some barbecue joint.
Yeah,
they had the pavilion or whatever.
Yeah,
that was the night that Karen Bam Bam beat Dan the Man for the title.
That's right. Yeah,
and the roof came off that pavilion. Oh my
she's
God.
Great. She's
God.
great talent. Yeah,
she is.
I'm very familiar with her there, and I've seen her quite a few times at Paradise Alley. She hasn't been back in a few months, but one of the things with Test of Strength is they always seem to run shows on days that I'm working.
Of course.
It's always, and it's like, I mean, that's with most wrestling companies, not just them. It's just so if I just don't happen to be off, then I will try to get there, especially if it's like really close to my house, because they were running at some bar that was about 10 minutes from my house. I just hop and go drive through the woods, and then I'd be there,
I'd love to go to another Test of Strength show. It's just they don't come close enough for me. That long ride down to Connecticut is tough for me. I especially with gas prices now. Jesus.
But you're in Worcester, though. Worcester's what?
That's
an
where
hour and a half from here. Oh, okay.
That's where I work. I'm a half hour in another direction to come home. So,
sheesh.
I'm in the middle. I'm almost dead central Mass. So
in the 90s, I used to drive to Worcester for punk rock shows back in those days. And I just remember
to the Palladium.
No, well, I don't think I was ever there, but
or Shabooms.
There was a place that was similar to like the White Eagle. It was like real DIY shows, stuff like stuff like that, like little Knights of Columbus halls and such like things like that. And while they were a lot of fun, I don't really remember much about it. It was so long ago, I was probably a teenager in early 20s. So.
Yeah. Oh, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, man. It doesn't,
because we're about the same. So we're about the same age. So I don't like doing that math.
I know, right? I just feel sometimes when I look back, I'm like, man, some of that stuff was so awesome. But then I realize I do the math, and I was just like, I cannot believe certain things were like 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah. I just had to do that yesterday. I was like, oh, this happened when I was 15. That was 30 years ago. That's not insane. That shouldn't be possible. I shouldn't know things 30 years ago.
I know. Anyway. Tell me about this PvP show that you just attended, and I got to say that I thought the format when you and your girlfriend, Anissa, correct?
Yeah, Anissa. Yep.
You guys did the format was really good, and I know I told you that through I messaged you. I thought it was really fun and really well done, and it's not like I did not sit there and say, man, I got to click the fast forward button or the X up in the corner.
Yeah.
I actually sat there and listened through the whole thing, and I enjoyed it. It just, I learned a lot of those talents that you were mentioning. They're guys that work down here. I've seen Wrecking
Yep.
Ball and
Yeah.
well, I've never seen Logan Black. I've never seen. I don't know if he's ever worked Connecticut, or if he has, it's been on a show that I have not seen
Right.
him on.
Yeah.
But I am a fan of his. I've seen him in Limitless and in other organizations. Perfect Perkins. I've seen he
Yes.
worked Paradise Alley at least once or twice, and it was like I remember one, I think his opponent got injured and the match was like stopped. So he didn't really get to
get going.
Yeah, exactly. And he was supposed to be brought back, and then I don't know what happened,
Yeah.
But I want to see more of him. I have seen him, and I think he just went. Did he not just go to Wrestling Open or Beyond or something like that?
I believe so. I believe he did, and I know that just to skip ahead a little bit, PvP is going to be holding their next event in June, on June 5th, and he's already scheduled to be there. Barring subject to change, but he's scheduled to be there.
No, that dude has the look. He has, he
really
has
does.
the charisma, if you will.
Jacked.
Yeah, exactly. And he's a good performer. Like I said, though, the time I saw him live, but I have seen him since, on IWTV and such. So,
well, first, sorry to screw up your episode.
I'm drunk half the time anyway, so sorry.
I really, really appreciate your feedback on how that came out, because that was kind of on the fly, because we wanted to do a post-show, rundown, but right after the show was Easter, and I went up to New Hampshire, so I couldn't do it that Sunday. And, then I had to work, Monday through, and we were like, hey, how about we do it now? She's, well, I don't want to be on camera. But it worked with her being just behind the camera, because I was able to have the conversation with her. I wasn't worried about if I was looking at the camera or not. And because I'm new to this, we've done the roundtable things, with Dawn, but this is a little bit different because I'm flying on my own,
I'm sure that played a little bit into it as well, right? You wanting to get going as a YouTuber. I mean, I just realized it's been well over a year since we've done a roundtable too.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if we should probably try to get one going.
It gets talked about, and then it lays flat. Nobody shows real interest, but there is interest. When we talk about.
I'm down. Yeah.
My girlfriend is very supportive with this addiction. She loves the wrestling as well. It's not like
that's a positive.
It's not like, okay, you do your wrestling thing and I'm going to go do this. No, we enjoy it, and we enjoy it as a family. And she's a driving force behind this. She really is. I got to give her a lot of the credit, because, I said at the end of that video, I said that we want to try and do a spotlight, segment on certain talent. That's her idea.
Yeah,
we just have to make it come to life, and and she's very supportive but very encouraging, and hey, but she'll also tell me, this isn't. I don't think this is right. Maybe we should do it this way. And the whole reason for doing that episode was because that's what we do on the ride home. We talk about the whole show. We'll sit there for 3 hours and watch wrestling, and then on the ride home for an hour, we talk about every match. So
that's awesome.
So now we're putting it on YouTube.
Like
we break it down.
90% of the shows I go to either by myself or have my 6-year-old with me. My wife will not go near an independent show.
I would rather go to an independent show than a big time show. Like a top,
a major
promotion. I don't want to say big time. People think I'm talking about big time.
Oh yeah. I just I don't have much interest in going to the big times, I guess, or majors these days. You know, the funny thing is, I prior to the pandemic, I guess I went to WrestleMania 35, and that was, and then I think I went to like a Raw, like around that time period as well, maybe either before or slightly after. And while it was okay, nothing fantastic.
I haven't been to a WWE show in 15 years.
That's amazing. But yeah, that's crazy to think about. If you,
Yeah.
So then I didn't go to, I think I had only gone to indie shows. And then when the pandemic and the WWE started running live events again,
Yeah.
I went to SmackDown and Survivor Series within 2 days of each other. I got to tell you, I didn't want to be at either of them once I bought those tickets, and I was actually in the arena.
Yeah.
Once I was in the arena and the action, if you will, started, I was like, this is not what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I prefer smaller independent wrestling shows. And it's not to be arrogant. It's
No.
not at all. It's just what I prefer.
It's more intimate. It's
that the production values,
you know what you're
away
getting
from. Yeah, exactly. But the production value takes away from the matches with things like WWE. If you get what I'm saying?
Yep. No, 100%.
It waters it down. So
I like that. It's almost like going. It's the difference between going to like a Hard Rock Cafe or going to your local bar.
Right.
I'd rather go to the local bar because I'm going to see somebody I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go see that. That's where my grandfather played, was all in the local bars and stuff.
Right.
So that's where I'd rather go. That's what I love about independent wrestling.
He was a musician. Your grandfather?
Yeah, he was a drummer. He was a drummer.
No. What kind of stuff did he play?
Yeah, country and oldies. Yeah, that was his that was his wheelhouse. His band was the Country Hitchhikers.
Okay.
And he retired from music 3 times.
I think it's one of those things where you just have the bug.
You can't.
Kind of like wrestling, how a lot of these guys say they're retiring and they come back over and over.
Yeah, I mean, but that's that's what I love about the indie scene. You get to know these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not 100%. Like your best friends, but
right.
I know that.
But there is a bond, and you get to forge some friendships there. You know what I mean? And the other fans,
Does John Cena reach out to you? With a message? No, but Ryan Frost does.
John Cena does follow me on Twitter, though.
I have to pick the one guy that follows Rick Del Santo.
I think he went through a phase where he followed everybody. One of his followers. Yeah. So,
of course.
Yeah. No, but like you said,
but you know what I mean, though.
Yeah. No, I know.
I went to a Blitzkrieg show right after the pandemic and everything. It was one of their first shows back.
Yep.
And it was post show, and I'm making my rounds, saying hi to this guy and saying hi to this guy. All of a sudden, Mike Skyrose comes running over, trips over some of the stuff just to come over and say hi to me.
A hell of a guy right there.
We'd never met before, other than being on the round table.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, it's friend Eric." I'm like, that was the same night that I saw Big Jim too. And he gave me a handshake and a big hug, and I was like, "Holy shit, this guy is big." He lived up to his name 100%. That was one of the first times I got to meet him in person.
Oh, he was a great dude, and he was one of the things that every time I saw him or we messaged back and forth, it never talked about professional wrestling.
Yeah,
ever.
But I did love your episode with him.
Yeah, we had a mutual love for punk rock, and we talked about that quite often. What bands are coming to town? Oh, you want to go see this? Stuff like that. We were supposed to go see Agent Orange last October together. The tour got canceled, and so it's kind of those are the little things you think about sometimes. Stuff like that.
But that. If it wasn't for you might have that connection with him because of the music thing, even without indie wrestling. But if it wasn't for independent wrestling, I wouldn't know you.
Exactly. That's how we met through another
I wouldn't
podcast.
know Don Kincaid, if it wasn't for indie wrestling and social anxiety, because my girlfriend didn't want to sit on the other side of my daughter, so she had her sit there. My daughter sits next to Don Kincaid, and she named him Friend Don. That's where Friend Erick came from. I go, who's your friend over there? She goes, oh, that's Friend Don. I'm like, what the heck? I didn't know who he was. I
think I met him by sitting behind him at a Paradise Alley show.
That's a scary place to sit.
Yeah. Well, I realized how loud he was and how he was actually part of the show in a way, every time he showed up through, Ref Bill kicking him in the shins or his just loud boos. But ever since then, anytime he shows up at a show, I normally sit next to him.
Yeah.
And we just chat and have a good time. No,
that's still not a safe place to sit.
Oh, well, they go straight for him if they see him, if they,
Yep.
So,
no, go ahead.
No, he's just a great guy. And some of the things that he does, professional wrestling. And I've talked about this with Marcel many times, who's my normal co-host with me. That's like wrestling brings people together.
That's my buddy right there.
Yeah, man, I love that guy, and I love doing the shows with him every week. We do them like 2-3 times a week now together.
Yeah,
it's just fun to sit and talk wrestling with.
I try to jump in when I can. Usually I'm standing at the time clock when I see that you're on, and I'm like, well, I'll give it a couple of minutes, and hopefully I can jump in the chat.
We go, and I appreciate anybody that jumps in the chat. It's well appreciated. Anybody that jumps in and comments and stuff, and sometimes that saves the episodes.
Yeah. That last one where you go, hey, wait, that's my buddy, my guy.
Yeah.
that whole thing, the thing with him being my buddy and everything was the funniest thing that ever started, because it was at Shut Up and Wrestle, and they were having a tournament to crown their first champion, and he come out and I'm booing him. I didn't even know who he was. I'm just booing him because of whoever he was facing.
Didn't he play the role of the baby face there at that?
No,
event?
he at that event he was
okay.
But I'm booing him, and he goes, "Listen here, buddy." And I caught Don because he's running around. I'm like, Don, look, he's my buddy. He said so. So then he had advanced to the next round. I'm like, Don, my buddy's coming. It just blew up to the point where it stopped being a taunt, and now it's he's like my buddy. I've seen him like 3 times.
No, great dude, and I've gotten to know him very well over the last 3 years through Paradise Alley Pro Wrestling. And when I was in dire need of a co-host for this podcast, we'd gone through co-host after co-host. He stepped it up after being a guest. He was just like, he said he was looking to form a podcast, and I said, why don't you just come here and we'll just do it here? And he's like, okay, that's it.
He's fun to listen to, and
he's very smart to the business, and he's got some great opinions, I guess, about professional wrestling.
Yeah,
we don't talk a lot about the localized area. I mean,
but he's so into it that it's kind of hard to talk about it. You don't want to. I would assume that you don't want to piss anybody off,
Well, there's that too. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
You don't want people thinking, oh, he's trying to put himself over or whatever.
Yeah. Let's talk about From Parts Unknown. How did you come up with that name? I love that name, by the way.
It hit me on a ride home one night. I'm like, man, this was before I actually thought about doing it. I'm like, like I was going through the steps of doing it. This was before that. I was coming home. I'm like, man, if I ever did this, what would I name it? It's got to be something. It's got to have a name. What would it be? And one of my favorites growing up was The Ultimate Warrior. And he was originally from Parts Unknown. And so was The Missing Link. And, all the weirdos were from Parts Unknown.
Must be a weird place to live.
I'm saying. So I'm like, you know what? What the hell? I'll be from Parts Unknown. And then I'm putting it in there, and my girlfriend went to search it, and she's like, there's other things called Parts Unknown, and it's some, it has absolutely nothing to do with wrestling. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not changing it. I like the name,
Right.
and those that know wrestling are gonna know what Parts Unknown is.
What
you
it
know,
means. Yeah.
you
Yep.
know, it's where the weirdos and derelicts and strange guys are from.
Yeah.
And that's me.
No, man, I always thought it was interesting when somebody was from Parts
Yeah,
Unknown,
yeah.
and it's a weird concept that these announcers or promoters, whoever came up with it, it stuck with a lot of these different wrestlers over the years. It's
Yeah.
interesting to think about.
It's like, why Parts Unknown?
Exactly.
Why aren't they like Chris Statlander is from the Andromeda Galaxy? Okay, at least that's something. It's
Right.
somewhere. It's not What is Parts Unknown? Well,
What do they do
it's
in
wrestling.
the previous, prior to professional wrestling? Why are they from Parts Unknown?
Yeah.
Why are they wearing face paint? That was
Yep.
very popular in the 80s. Why were there
Yep.
so many wrestlers wearing face paint? So
Yep. Some of our favorites had face paint.
we talked about that before. Yeah, the
Yeah.
LOD,
The Road
and,
Warriors.
and Sting, and
Yep.
it seemed like in the 1980s there was at least every promotion had at least one wrestler with face paint, or maybe even two or three. So
But it was like face paint then was like masks now.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a masked wrestler. Even if they're
Yeah.
not a luchador, they have a mask. Like,
Yeah.
just because it popped into my head, Luchasaurus wears a mask.
Yeah.
Serpentico, he's not a luchador, but he wears a mask.
Even though
You know?
there was masked wrestlers and luchadors back then, it's just
Right.
since the
Oh, yeah.
1990s. Since the 1990s, it's been way. And you'd have to attribute to somebody like Eric
Rey
Bischoff in
Mysterio,
WCW, who made the lucha libre and masked wrestlers explode in a way. Because
Yeah.
Bischoff pushed those guys to the moon.
He
They were
gave
all over
him
the
a
event.
platform. He gave him
Exactly.
a platform.
In the United States, it was what they only got TV out in California or something like that. It wasn't
Right.
like an international platform.
Or in somewhere in Texas.
Right.
Because of the
you're
Guerreros.
right. Yep, absolutely. Tell me more about your channel. What else do you plan on doing? What are you
Well,
what else have you done with it?
Well, I haven't really done much. Like I said, I only got
I know.
5 videos on there.
Yep.
But we got to grow. I want to do, like I said, I want to do like a spotlight, maybe once in a while. I don't want to, just soak everybody with, a spotlight on different indie wrestlers. But, one here, one there, one here, one there of, where they've been, stuff I've seen them do, that kind of thing. Just talk about them a little bit. Keep it kind of short, 15 minutes at most, maybe.
Right.
I don't want to go, spend an hour on somebody that nobody's ever going to see, but I see them, we see them. That's all, and I want to promote them. I want to.
You've actually gotten some pretty good views though on some of your videos for just starting out, for having.
I noticed that.
Yeah.
There's like one of them's got like 70 something views. I'm like, what?
Even some of my videos don't even get that that far, and I've been doing this almost 3 years. Seriously though, it's kind of interesting. I'm not complaining. I just find,
it's comparison. It's like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you've been doing that. I'm doing this on a whim. And I'm learning as I go. Each video is got a little bit of difference to it because I'm like, oh, what if I try this? What if I try that?
Yeah, because you're still learning and you're still teaching yourself.
100%.
I've done
100%.
everything here just by teaching myself. I was just like, hey, what do you use for editing videos? My friend would say, hey, this. I'm like, okay.
I'm using iMovie. I got iMovie on my phone, and that's what I use.
Yeah. I've promoted myself from using my phone to a Chromebook and then to a laptop, so an actual laptop. So now
I'm doing everything on the phone. We're on my phone right now. That's all I got.
No,
I don't have a computer.
No, it's okay, dude. It's just it's fun to I think in February I bought a brand new laptop just because I'm just like I got a good deal on it, and I'm like, hey, I'm using this only for the show, So that's it.
Yeah.
I got it dirt cheap. So
one of the things I want to do is I want to do a little bit of a tour through my wrestling room. Once I have everything up, I still have stuff I need to put up before I do that.
Like
because
your
I have,
collectibles and such.
yeah, my,
Yeah.
you know, like you can see my 8x10s behind me. I'm gonna be putting more on the wall over here. I have some pretty cool stuff over there. It's all wrestling related in here. I got some figures that I got. You know, I want to just, you know, give a quick tour on that, and then I'm gonna have my daughter, because, well, she's a teenager and they know how to do these things. I want to do like a TikTok video, but put it on my YouTube channel and go through all my shirts. Just do a cool way of editing it. She's already got ideas on how to do it. I just need to find the time to do it, because it's going to take a while.
Teenagers influence, I guess, right?
I need the touch.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm on TikTok, and I half the time I'm sitting here like, I don't know how to do this. Like, how do these kids make this with all these effects? And I sit there and I fuck it up. So I'm like, I don't know.
I won't.
So
I don't want to say I'll never do it, because that's when I'll look like a liar when I finally do it.
TikTok's
but right now,
fun, dude. It's like, it's addictive, to be honest with you. I follow a lot of wrestling related TikToks, and it's very interesting. Some of the independent wrestling, you know, this guy that does like this really large indie page out of Georgia. You know, I follow his stuff. So some of some of the guys I'm very familiar with. You know, guys like Sal Renaro and stuff like that. Guys that have risen a little bit, say through Ring of Honor, or NWA, or what have you. But then there's like guys that have not risen that far. I'm just like, some of this stuff is so weird. Some of it's so cool to watch. You know, you'd have to say it's like a version of like what we're doing, but just down there. You know what I mean? We support a lot of the New England promotions. This guy's supporting a lot out of Georgia. So,
well, good. You know, I mean, that's the only way that people are gonna, you know, get to know these people is if you promote them. You know, they do it on their own and they put out their own stuff, but they shouldn't be the only ones. Let's put some legs behind them, and that's what I love to do. And our big tagline for Parts Unknown is, we build them up, we don't tear them down. We don't do a lot of negativity. We don't do we're gonna cheer and we're gonna boo. I said that in my last video.
But that's part of the show. You know?
We're gonna boo, but we're not going to be disrespectful. We're not going to be, you know, there's no room for, you know, hate or anything like that on my channel. I'll close it down first.
100%. I agree with you.
I won't allow that, because there's no room for it. And obviously it's been what, 3 weeks. But so far nothing.
It's 2022, and you're about to get hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, and I'm not saying, like, I'm just saying it will happen.
Oh yeah.
It's happened to me before. What do? I just ignore it. Yeah. Honestly, because what's the, you know, there's people that said, "Oh, this interview sucked." I don't care. You know what I mean? Yeah. First off,
I enjoyed it. That's all that matters.
I never went to school how to work radio or do interviews. I'm not a professional journalist. I'm a fan trying to do this. Yeah. And just like yourself, you know what I mean? It's just turned into something, and I'm having a lot of fun. This is supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be for fun.
Well, the second it stops being fun, I'll just stop. But I don't see that right now. I'm having a lot of fun. You know, it's funny. It's been a long time since I've gotten a pro wrestling crate. And
I just got mine the other day.
You did an unboxing, didn't you? Just recently?
Yeah. The first unboxing I've done on this channel in months, I think. Yeah. I just haven't been collecting merch as much, but the funny part is I'm sitting here like, I need to buy a couple shirts, you know, today. So I'm like,
I when I went to PvP, I didn't buy a shirt. I didn't buy one shirt. They had event special shirts that they gave to the first 100 patrons. So I got a free shirt, but I didn't. I mean, I bought the ticket, so I guess I bought a shirt. But the only thing I bought was 2 8x10s, so that I could hang them up on the wall when I get
supporting the talent. Yeah,
I got to do something. I got to buy something, you know. And I've gotten a couple of different things online, and you know, because I haven't been at a show, somebody will put, "Hey, I got these for sale," and I'm looking at them like, "Oh, I have a few extra dollars." And I guess I'll give Masa Slamovich some more money, and because she's a hell of a talent. You know, if I'm not crazy about them, I'm not gonna buy their stuff.
And she's just made some big, gotten some pretty decent exposure not so long ago.
She's on Impact.
Yeah, wasn't she in the NWA a few months back as well? Like she made a couple appearances. So, you know, I mean, Impact at this level and 2022 is slightly bigger than. No offense to
I get
to the National Wrestling Alliance, but yeah.
I wish I could find it.
The NWA?
Impact. No, Impact.
Oh, Impact. See, the
I don't
thing
get
is
access, so
yeah, me neither. But for 99 cents on their YouTube channel, if you subscribe, you can get the 4 shows a month. So I decided that for 99 cents, I think it's a pretty decent deal to get charged 99 cents just so I can be able to watch their TV series, you know? And they've been doing a really great job. There's other ways to find the show.
Yeah.
Maybe not legally.
I keep up with their social media, so I get I get a little bit caught up, on some of their stuff. But that's more of the big league stuff, I love IWTV because
me too. I'm actually watching it right now. I'm watching the recent freelance show. So
I don't watch as much as you would love to because I have other things that I watch, and I don't watch much wrestling in the morning. Before I go to work, because it's like I don't want to get too into something and then have to leave it,
Yeah.
Obviously, I can always come back to it, but then I'm watching something else.
It's funny because I work, during the day, and then I go to a part-time job at night, and I sit there and I have my laptop on and I try to pay attention to a lot of stuff. It's mostly, like I said, I'm paying for an IWTV subscription, so I really try to
get your monies.
Exactly, because there's so many great things on there, but there's times where I won't, like, I'll be paying for it and I won't watch it for weeks. Weeks. I'm like, no. There's some really good stuff here. I read a lot about, so especially, there's promotions that are nowhere near where you or I are.
Right.
Like New South.
Midwest. Yeah,
exactly. New South has like an NWA style feel, like old school, like NWA style feel, but with a modern twist.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's really fun to watch. There's that Paradigm show that's kind of like the Bloodsport or like UWF, old, like the Japanese UWFI type stuff, like submission type stuff. Very unique channel and very they've done a lot of really good stuff. And they just bought the rights to the All Japan Women. I mean, they just keep adding all this amazing stuff to their freaking channel.
And there's a lot of our New England promotions that are on IWTV too. So you can keep up with it, like Beyond is on there. I know that's not like, I mean, it is local because they've been in Worcester for a while, but Wrestling Open is on there. The WWR Plus is on there.
Yep. It all falls under the same umbrella, the three of them, really.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you can watch all of those. You can watch, Blitzkrieg is usually on there, which is, they put on a hell of a show. You want to have a party time.
Yeah, I've watched every show that they've done on there between, they go between like Mass and Connecticut, correct?
Yeah. They had a place that they go to in, God forgive me if I got the town wrong. I think it's Enfield, Connecticut.
Yes. Yep.
And because it's like right over the line. And they run out of this hall that's a pierogi place, and that place it's like their home base. And
that sounds really good. I'm coming out there then.
That's a great time. Jeremy Leary is the owner of it, and he's a hell of a wrestler, but he also he puts on a hell of a show. It's got a very punk rock feel to it. You'd enjoy that,
It's funny that you said that, because I think one of the last shows, like within the last like month or two, some of the artwork was in tribute to like the Bad Brains, one of their like logos. And then I think the newest one that's coming up was like the artwork was similar to like the an Anthrax album.
He does that. He does that all.
I think it's amazing, dude.
Yeah,
I think it's amazing.
That's his vibe. I don't want to speak for him, but I've heard him talk about it, and he's very much a music guy as well. So,
being a kid that listened to that, like a guy that grew up listening to a lot of that stuff,
yeah,
it's just fun to see that stuff involved in, going from one platform to the next,
yeah.
like going from
He loves when people pick up on on that, it's like, oh, okay. It wasn't just, this is the name of the show. It's taken after this
right.
group, not everybody gets it, but you
Well,
being a punk rock music guy, you would really get that. And he would, respect that, again, I'm not speaking for him. I just seen how he talks,
No, it's just cool, to know
Yeah.
that. And I got to get out to one of the shows because I do watch them, and it's like banger after banger, like match wise. And he brings in some really great talent.
He's got some. I wanted to go to this next one, but I couldn't sling the funds to go because it's an on weekend for me with my daughter.
Gotcha.
And so then that would be me, Anissa, my daughter, and her daughter. That's 4 tickets.
Yep.
That's a lot of cake, to throw down, because I don't like to sit. I mean, I will if I have to, but I like to sit front row, because I like to be right there in the action, and I'm
a cheap seats guy as long as I'm in the arena.
But I like to get good shots from for
absolutely
taking pictures and stuff like that. Plus, I just love front row. I like it when they come out and land in your lap.
But now you're a content creator, so it will help. Being there. Yes, you are.
Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it to get anything or anything like that. That's not why. This is to help promote them. That's all it is. I'm not looking for handouts or anything like that. That's not what this is about whatsoever. But it's they throw on a good show. That was one of the first shows back post pandemic that I went to, other than Test of Strength.
Yeah.
So I got to, I had been to 2 shows before, but I got to bring Anissa to her first Blitzkrieg show, and she's like, "When's the next one? Let's go."
That's amazing. I wish I could turn my wife on to wrestling.
I don't know. I don't know that none of this would be happening if it wasn't for her. I said that before, but I mean, I would find my way to it, but anybody else I've been with, it wasn't as supportive of this addiction as she is. So give her a lot of credit.
I was married to I've been married 2 times. My previous wife would go to indie, wrestling in general with me, indie shows mostly.
Yeah.
Didn't particularly care for it. But my second wife is just like, nah, just go do your thing.
So, well, at least she doesn't keep you from it, I guess.
Yeah,
that's
for the most part, unless there's something, that's more important, like, involving the children, or if we have to travel, and it's totally understandable. It's not
something more. Yeah. I don't understand those words.
It's life. No, there's been plenty of times, and it's like talking about wrestling and getting back into wrestling, and ever since I've been a Paradise Alley guy, going to all their shows, I've probably missed now 4 now.
Yeah.
In the 3 or so years that I've been involved, and it's because I had to travel for something, what I mean, a family related thing. So it's like, but at least I do get to see them. They record them sometimes, or I actually record them for them, a lot of times too. But they also have like another hard cam that I end up getting that, because now I'm actually producing the television series Alley Fights for them. Me and Nick Payne are doing that together. And it's a lot of fun to be involved doing something like that. It's
that's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool to be, it's like you're accepted into something that you've always. I mean, look, we've said it 100 times. We're the same age. So when we grew up, the dream was to be a wrestler. You wanted to be a wrestler.
Yep.
And then you get to do these things, and it's like, in some way, shape, or form, they kind of accept you in. It's like, wait a minute. Yep. Some dreams are coming true here that, we want to use that disgusting math again. It's like, 30 something years ago it was only a dream. But now it's like, okay, we're not in the ring. We're not bumping and grinding with these guys, but holy crap, they accept you as one of your own.
Yeah, to be a fan that's involved in some way. I'm always going to be a fan, whether there's been times where I would go a year or 2 without watching it. And whatever I had going on up here or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But I'd
Yep.
always came back to it.
Yeah.
Which
I-
is, you know,
I've listened to some people saying, "Oh, that I fell out of love with it when I was this age to this age."
it's not that I fell out of love with it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not saying you,
You
but
know, no,
some
I get
people
what
say
you're
it.
saying. Yeah.
I've never had that. I've
And
never
that's
had
amazing.
that.
That's
From
amazing.
the time I was 4 or 5 years old
Mhm.
to now 45 years old. Yeah, I had to, not watch as much and only keep up with it by magazine or something like that because I wasn't able to watch all the time. But I was still into it. I was still paying attention to it some way, shape, or form.
Right.
I've never had that loss of wanting to watch. I mean, yeah, maybe I'm not overly happy with every storyline or whatever, but
No.
they're not putting everything out for me. They're putting everything out there for everybody,
Just so they can make money. Let's be serious. Yeah.
It's a business.
Yep.
It's a business, and they got to make money. Otherwise, there's no business.
Absolutely.
But that's those big guys. We're talking about.
We're talking about our area here.
Yeah.
The big shows.
I got a show coming up Saturday.
Where are you going Saturday?
Shut up and
Oh,
wrestle.
that's right. They run day shows, correct?
It's going to be in Holyoke at 3:00, I think. Yeah, I think doors are at 2:30. Matches start at 3:00. I mean, it's free. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
That's my price range right there.
I could definitely get behind the free part. I'm working until 2:00, and it's about an hour drive, maybe a little bit longer. So if I got there, and then I have Paradise Alley at night, that's
a lot of driving.
Yeah, that's a lot of driving. I mean, I could fly from Massachusetts to East Haven, Connecticut, but I'd probably be exhausted after working all day. I'm working at night tomorrow, and then have to be up early for Saturday work. So.
And then have to go to Paradise Alley.
Yeah, so if I did all that, I'd probably be dead by Sunday morning.
I wouldn't want to be around you.
Yeah.
Right. We did one doubleheader. We went to a Shut Up and Wrestle. It was just Anissa and I. We went to Shut Up and Wrestle. That got over, and we went out to go see Blitzkrieg.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched a couple hours at Shut Up and Wrestle, and then we went and watched another few hours and then I had to drive over an hour home.
An hour or just over an hour isn't so bad. It's when you're driving 2 or 3 hours. You know what I mean? That's like that can be killer.
That. It's just after that long of being at the shows, it's like now I got to drive.
Yeah,
it's like but we keep ourselves up,
dude. Yeah, coffee's your best friend.
Well, it is, but it isn't. My body doesn't like coffee, but I do.
Yeah, I love it. Let's see. Let's see. Where should we go next? Because we'll do about an hour. We still got some time left. Tell me about.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I know you worked all night, and I still got to wake up for work. So, tell me about some guys you like around the area in New England that we should plug throughout there. People that should these listeners and fans should check out.
Well, let's see. I mean, some of our, we have some mutuals that we both like. I know, and that's Bull Dread, Ryan Frost.
Yep.
I love Ryan Frost. I love Bull Dread.
Great guy.
I saw him at a NEW
train. Yeah.
Yeah. Went down to Rhode Island, which is like the next exit from my daughter's mother's house.
Okay.
So it was like easy for me to get to. We went to that show and saw a bunch of guys, but I'm sitting in the audience and all of a sudden 2 hands come over my shoulder and I look up and it's Dread. He says, "I only came out here to come say hi to you." And then we said hi, he gave me a hug, and he went back. And that was the only reason he came out from behind was because he knew I was there. And he came over and gave me a hug, and he scooted to the back.
He is a great dude. I just had him back on, I think, last week or the week before.
Yeah.
Can I have him on more? Because it was like well over a year since I had him on. And I love seeing him, and I'm glad that that's one of the guys we talk about.
Yeah.
over
But
the years become friends with him. You know, and then I'm going to see him this Saturday.
Like I said, you know, Ryan Frost, super good dude.
Yep.
I got nothing but love for that guy. I'm glad that he's kind of on the face side, so now he can accept that love because he liked to poo it off. I'm like, he got in the ring, and I'm like, I can't boo you. I just can't do it. It's not going to happen. I won't do it. But you know, I'm trying to look up here at the wall. A lot of these guys have already been on TV, and some of them are on TV now. I got Smart Mark Sterling. He's
on TV every week.
Every week.
Isn't that kind of, you know, the funny part is I think we talked about that when you came on the first time. We talked about him at least, I think.
Let's see. I mean, we got Logan Black.
Yep.
Logan Black, Nuka, the great Nuka.
I haven't seen him in a while. Very just quiet, saw him.
Quiet.
Yeah.
Quiet dude, but talent coming out of the wazoo, man. That kid is super talented. Let's see who else we got up over here. Nicole Matala, we got her over here. She, our friend Big Juicy, just beat her for her title over at New England Wrestling Extreme.
I think she's coming here in June. I think for Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
That's sounds about right. Yeah. And how do you not promote our girl Big Juicy? You know, I love Big Juicy.
Yep.
I've seen her since almost day one to where she is now. And she's a belt collector. She's
improved, greatly improved over the, you know, and gotten so much.
3 titles. She's got 3 titles right now.
Yeah. Didn't she just win the New World Extreme?
She did from Nicole.
Yep. That's right.
And then she's got Blood, Sweat, and Tears Monarch's title.
Yep.
And then she's got Shut Up and Wrestle's title.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
And then we got this guy right here. Is Perry Von Vicious.
I've heard his name quite a bit.
Right now, he's changed up his gimmick. This was back when he first came back from California. Okay. And he was going as a rich guy. He was, you know, better than you because he's rich, you know, kind of like a DiBiase type of thing.
Yep.
But he's changed it up, and now he's the human monster truck. And he's having a lot of fun doing it. And if it weren't for that guy, I wouldn't be as into independent wrestling as I am. Because he's the one that, you know, we went to go see for the first time, and haven't looked back since.
That's awesome. It takes somebody like that sometimes, you know.
You know, you got to support family. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's your wife's cousin? Is that what you said? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's, and then we got Davian. She's
she's getting out there, man.
Oh my God, she's been on
name's getting bigger. Yep.
She's been on Dark a couple of times. She's been on one of her first matches was Ring of Honor. But she's super talented. She's uber talented. And then you got Big Bacon up there, Big Bacon Brad Hollister. You know him from NEW, I'm sure.
Yeah, I see him in NEW. I just saw him. Where did I see him the other day?
He was on
Open. It wasn't an NEW match. I don't remember where.
Open. He was at Wrestling Open.
That might be it. Yep.
And I haven't seen those. He's been, I think, twice, and I haven't watched those 2 events.
Those episodes, yeah.
But super good dude. Talented wrestlers all get out.
Yeah, he's very good.
You know, I mean, those are some of the guys. I mean, you know, you got little mean Kathleen out there.
Mm-hmm.
She's fun. Yeah, I'll give her that much. She's fun. You know.
Do you get Northeast Championship Wrestling in your area, or is that too far out?
No, that's somewhat in the same area as to where I go.
Okay.
But I've never been to one of their shows.
I watched their YouTube series. It's been a little bit since I've seen it though. But you know, I was watching it every Thursday for a while, and it's a lot of fun. Juicy was on there. And it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, they looks like they put on a pretty good show. I just haven't. It's like I can only pick so many places to go, you know.
I get it, you know, and there's so much wrestling. It's kind of sometimes,
and like I don't have any, you know, in my backyard. I don't have any anymore because Anthony Green had his promotion, which was 0-1.
Yep.
Yeah, but when he got signed, that was the end of that, and That's it. So,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But now there's a new promotion out there called Grind Pro.
They're running good shows. I've watched
Yes.
a couple of them, and
I went to their premiere show. I went to their opening, their debut show.
it's like pure wrestling, like for the most part. And you get guys like Warhorse showing up there. They're good shows. They're fun.
He's put everything into that promotion. Yeah. Like he had the ring built. You know, it wasn't like he went out and rented it. It's got the mat has his name on it. You know, the promotion name on it. It's got the sliding doors, which is really cool. Good lighting.
He's got like a very professional feel to it.
Yeah, he's got the guardrails and everything.
Yeah,
and it's. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of guardrails at indie shows, but you know, if that's what you want, that's what you want. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I love having them, dump into your lap. You know, I just think it's so much fun.
It's happened. Yes, it's happened.
It's happened a lot.
I can tell you a funny ECW story about Raven dumping into my lap. So on a pay-per-view, mind you.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So I'm on TV for like a brief second.
Under Raven.
Yeah, under Raven, exactly. So where can people find you, Mr. Friend Eric from Parts Unknown? Well,
there's the YouTube channel, Erick Hunting from Parts Unknown. If you want to find my content, mostly that's where I am. I'm just me on Facebook. I'm just Erick Hunting on Facebook and on Instagram as well. And if I'm putting content there on my channel, I'm usually sharing it to both those platforms. I don't do Twitter. Like I said, I'm not young enough to do TikTok. So I'm a Facebook and Instagram guy. I try to keep my Instagram strictly for wrestling. And then there's my YouTube channel, which I thank everybody that's been helping promote it. You, Don, a lot of others. Don Kincaid is
one of the best great guys.
That guy's my best friend, man. If I stopped going to wrestling, I would still talk to him. You know what I mean? It's just
absolutely.
I love that guy. I'm hoping to see him Saturday at Shut Up and Wrestle. And because it's been a minute, and I hate not seeing him.
It's funny. I've gotten lucky and then ran into him twice in the last year, maybe 3 times. But between 2 Paradise shows and then what's another one? Blood, Sweat, and Tears. So great dude. What he does for professional wrestling in the New England, actually not just New England, the whole Northeast.
Yep.
The guy is out there, and sometimes he'll go to several shows a day, 2-3 shows a day, and his video content, whether it be wrestling matches or his interviews, the guy is doing so much great for the Northeast.
I agree.
Years and years in the future, people are going to remember Don Kincaid for all that he's done in the New England wrestling area.
I'll make sure of it. That's for damn sure. If it weren't for him and what he created with like the fan roundtable and stuff,
yes,
I wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing right now with you. Never mind the YouTube channel, because I wasn't comfortable. But him and I Skyping together over, just spitballing ideas and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, well, I want to do this. Well, what do you think about it? And I'm not patting myself on the back. He said it. We both kind of came up with ideas for the whole fan roundtable thing. Him and I. I know he had help from other people too. It wasn't just me.
No, I remember when he reached out to me. I was like, me? Like,
yeah. He says, I want to talk to this guy,
problem.
Rick Del Santo. I'm like, okay, I don't know who that is, but I'm down. If he's a wrestling fan, I'm in.
I think I had only met him a handful of times, to be honest with you. Prior to the pandemic shutting the entire world down. Yep. So when he asked me, I was like, oh, okay. So no problem.
I told you I didn't even really meet him when my daughter met him. I never even got introduced to him, other than my daughter saying that's friend Don. And then because he was tight with Foggy, or is tight with Foggy, I don't want to say was. Then him always being on Center Ring, I would comment on the show or whatever, and then I got invited to be on the show, and that's where I met Bull Dread for the first time. Was on Center Ring.
Yeah.
And, we just became wicked fast friends, mainly because of our love for wrestling.
Yeah.
But,
that's the thing is we talk about this all the time on this show. Wrestling brings people together and it makes friendships.
Yep. I 100% agree. Some of my closest friends I have right now are due to independent wrestling.
Yeah.
Whether they are a wrestler or were a wrestler or are uber fans of wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's because of wrestling. If I didn't go to those shows, I wouldn't know maybe half the people I talk to on a daily basis, like over social media.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up one more thing.
Okay.
You brought up Foggy.
Yes.
At some point in the near future, I just talked to Mr. Fogman. I will be making an appearance on Center Ring in the near future as soon as he starts up and running his regular show again. So we just talked about that.
Him.
He's asked me, so I accepted, and I'm looking forward to it. I've watched that quite a bit over the years. So I remember watching that in the 90s on public access television. So
oh shit.
The fact that he is still doing it is amazing.
Yep. No. Yeah. I think I told you, or I mentioned it before, he was the first person I met at an indie show when I went to my first PvP show. He introduced himself to me. I'm like, I don't know who the heck this guy is, but he told me to check out his YouTube show. Oh, okay. And then he checked up on me at the next show. Hey, did you check out my show? Well, I got to be honest with you, I didn't. But I made sure to do it after that second, time seeing him. I haven't missed an episode yet. And that was 5 years ago.
Trying to get him on this show is a pain in the ass. I'm just going to say that in case he is watching. But we've become pretty.
That's why I love him.
We've become pretty good friends now. It's to the point where he's very good to my 6-year-old son.
Yep.
He's come to my house to watch wrestling pay-per-views. So
that's what you're going to do. Invite him again to your house and then do a sit down.
Just start filming
because to get him to do it on his phone, he won't do it.
Yeah,
or he's got the spotty. He's got worse service than we got. So
that's funny. That's funny.
Unless you do something with him in the studio, at Center Ring or at a show. You got to
just start filming at a show. Yeah.
Just sit down next to him.
Yeah. Eric, I want to thank you for coming on again. And I want to thank you for Erick Hunting from Parts Unknown. It's my new favorite channel because I'm very, very excited about it. You're laughing, but I'm serious. But I'm serious because I really like the content. The fact that you're showing clips of wrestling, or the fact that
I appreciate that so much. I really do.
The last episode that you did, the one with you and Anissa, really took to it. It really got me. Like, I was just like, man, this could be really, really be something. So I'm hoping that you guys continue, do your spotlights, do your post-show reviews. It's, and I want everybody out there just to go check it out. Erick Hunting from Parts Unknown on YouTube. It's I could just see it going on and just being very good. And
I'm so humbled
everybody else to check it out. No, man, I'm being serious. So
I know. And that's why I appreciate it so much, Rick, because this is just, like I said, on a whim. Oh, we're gonna try this, but we really did. We watched the episode back, or I did. She won't watch it, but
I'll tell you, I was the same way for the first almost 3 years. I would never ever watch myself back, but then people start commenting to me or calling me up and saying, hey man, I like this. Like, every time I saw Nick Payne from the House of Pain, they're like, dude, your show has gotten so much better than it was like the first however long. And I'm like,
right,
yeah, whatever, dude, he's just blowing smoke. So then I just sit there after I record. I go back and listen.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, that was a lot of fun. Same
Yeah.
thing will probably happen tonight when I go to bed. I'll put on my headphones and listen.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to Shut Up and Wrestle on Saturday. So we have all intentions on doing a review of that show. It won't be as long as the first one because it's a smaller show.
Yeah.
A smaller card. But we'll still do exactly, maybe not exactly, but we're going to do like we did, talk through the matches, do a match of the evening or day, whatever, and then a performer of the day, and then call it a day. I enjoyed it and I watched it and I was in it. I know that sounds like, oh no, but I liked how it came out.
No, I get it, dude. Like, that's how I was in the beginning too. Like, I was very nervous about listening to my own voice or me coming off as an idiot, really. So,
Same, 100% same.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna hit the road because it is very, very late. But I want to thank Eric again for coming, and we're definitely, this should be a regular thing. I'm tired of you not coming on here after tonight.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, and make sure you check out Erick Hunting from Parts Unknown.